How's it going, everyone? My name's Nick, and today I'm going to tell you all there is to know about life in the city of Columbia, Missouri. So like I said a few seconds ago, my name's Nick. I've lived here in Columbia for almost 11 years now. My family moved here back in 2010. My dad was in the military, I was a Navy brat, so that kind of resulted in us moving to like 8 different places across the US and also Japan, which does sound cool, but the fact that we had to travel so often meant that we also didn't really have much time to make friends before we had to move on to the next place, so that was kind of a bummer. Anyway, my sister and I didn't really know what to think of it at the time, except for the fact that she referred to the state of Missouri as misery. But let me just say that our opinion of this place has done a complete 180 since then. We absolutely love Columbia, and I'll be proud to say that we call this place our home now. It's going to be really sad when I have to leave because I really am going to miss this place. So moving on to the point of this video, I wanted to make a little guide, just simply going over Columbia, things to do, sights to see, and everything in between. I went around town filming various locations that are pretty popular, got some pretty cool shots, and I hope that this video gives you a different idea of what it's like to live here because it may be different than you think. I'd say that this whole guide is meant for those thinking about moving to Columbia, whether it be for an education or a job, or maybe you're just someone who stumbled upon this video and are curious about what the heck's going on here. And for that, I recognize you and I appreciate you. So on that note, let's get started. Columbia, Missouri, or Como for short, is the 4th most populous city in the state of Missouri with about 123,000 people in 2019. It's the fastest growing metropolitan area in the state with a population increase of about 10% over the last decade. Columbia is home to the University of Missouri Tigers, which itself is known for having one of the best journalism schools in the country, which I attended, by the way, not trying to brag. When it comes to jobs in the economy, the city relies more so on healthcare, insurance, and technology businesses. Companies founded in Columbia you may recognize include Shelter Insurance, Veterans United Home Loans, and Carfax. There are a couple big international events that do take place in town. One is the Roots and Blues Music Festival, which features many musicians of blues, country, and rock and other genres from around the globe. There's also a lot of food and craft vendors as well as other activities that take place over the weekend. Then there's a slightly more prominent True False Film Festival, which is a documentary film festival that takes place near the end of winter and attracts thousands from around the world with about 54,000 tickets to attend the festival in 2019. So now let's go over cost of living. The median household income in Columbia is about $44,000 a year. The US average is about $53,000. The median cost for a 2-bedroom apartment in Columbia is roughly $771. Here's a chart comparing it to other big cities. If you want to compare this to other cities, perhaps your own, the link to that website is down below. Keep in mind that this median cost for Columbia does include all of the apartments downtown, which I think are priced exorbitantly high. If you don't want to pay that much, there are plenty of other apartments in Columbia for much cheaper outside of downtown. Now, of course, they aren't close to downtown, which may or may not be ideal for you, but you should know that most, if not all of those apartments have shuttles that can take you to the Mizzou campus. So if you're a student or work nearby, that can be very useful. Personally, I lived at an apartment complex for a couple years now, and the rent is only about $400 a month, which is a great deal. However, that is with 3 other roommates, and this complex doesn't have every amenity, but it does have enough for me. It's got the shuttle to campus, it's got a pool, it's a short drive to Walmart, some fast food places, a couple grocery stores, a gym, and that's really all I need. But honestly, if you can afford to pay a bit more to live downtown, if you really do prefer to be near all that excitement of downtown, just knock yourself out. It's quite nice having that luxury of being able to walk to places and not really ever worry about driving. So, speaking of downtown, you can find plenty of bars, restaurants, and tons of other stores. Let's start with some bars because you know that's part of college. There's the Campus Bar and Grill. Everyone, though, still calls it the Big 12 because that was its original name before Mizzou joined the SEC. It's a very popular bar for the college crowd because its location is right on the edge of campus. A couple of other bars students typically go to are Harpo's and Fieldhouse. They usually have plenty of drink specials. Just be aware that these places can be really packed during the weekend. If you're into the more stylish or chic bars, there's The Roof. It's a bar on top of the Broadway Hotel with an incredible view of the city. There's also Room 38, which has a pretty diverse menu. They make a bomb mojito. and their lobster mac and cheese is just as good as it sounds. I went there on my 21st birthday. There's also Logboat Brewing Company. It's a hotspot a little northeast of downtown Columbia. Logboat is the big local beer. They have a nice quaint bar inside with a view of the brewery right behind it. Along with that, there's a large grass area outside where people hang out. A lot of them usually bring their doggos. It's pretty sweet. There are a few popular local coffee shops in town. Just to name a few, there's Starbucks. I'm just kidding. There's Shortwave, the Grindhouse, Fretboard, and then Lakota, which is the one I stopped by when I was out there filming. I got a nice coffee with almond milk. The barista recommended I put lavender in it. It was actually quite tasty. Now, when it comes to food, if you were to ask any resident of Columbia where to eat, I guarantee that 99% of the time, they'll say Shakespeare's Pizza. There are 3 different locations in town. People are just absolutely nuts about this place. It's just perhaps a little bit overhyped. It might be because I lived in town for a long time. I've eaten here a lot, but overall, it is a great place to get food with friends and family. Now, with that being said, my favorite pizza place in Columbia would be Pizza Tree. They have that classic New York slice, and the flavor is just on point. Not a ton of seating inside though, only like 3 or 4 tables, so I'd just recommend only going there to pick up a pizza or get it delivered. If you plan on sitting down though, definitely go to Shakespeare's. So, for restaurants that aren't pizza, there's the Heidelberg. They have great toasted ravioli. Flat Branch is also good. They have homemade root beer. 44 Canteen is popular as well. They have great fish tacos. And if you were to go to the south side of Columbia, there's Murray's, D-Rose, Las Margaritas. These are just ones at the top of my head. There are plenty of other great places, but those are my top picks. Eating and drinking is awesome, but when you're not doing that, there are still plenty of things to do in town. There's Ragtag Cinema. It's a movie theater that primarily shows independent films. I've seen movies like Moonlight and Mandy. They offer 2 small theaters in the back with a cafe at the front. It's kind of cool. Before they show the movie, they have someone that goes up there to the front and presents the film to us, gives us a little summary about the film process, about the director. It's kind of cool. If you're someone who likes nature, there's Rockbridge Memorial State Park. They have a few hiking trails, one of which leads to a cave known as the Devil's Icebox that you can actually go inside. I wasn't really sure how far down the trail it's located, or even if I was on the right trail at all. I'm not much of an outdoors person, but I went out there anyway at 8 a.m. on a Sunday, and let me tell you, it was really peaceful. As eerie as the trees look in this footage, it was actually quite something. And they did scare me at first, but I even spotted a couple deer that happened to be passing by. I don't know how often you see them there, but that was really cool. It all was a beautiful sight to see, and if it wasn't for the freezing wind, and if I didn't have to go to film other locations in town, I probably would have stayed a little bit longer. I'll definitely be back though, and I do want to go down another trail soon. Another cool spot that I don't think a ton of people know about or think about going to is the McBain Bur Oak Tree, or the Big Tree. It's technically outside of Columbia. It's a few minutes southwest in the town of McBain, Missouri. It's this wide open area with this large tree standing alone in the middle of all of it. The tree is known to be 380 to 400 years old. It stands at about 90 feet and has withstood floods, lightning strikes, and unfortunately vandalism. It's been spray painted a few times. But guys, I try my best to really illustrate what it's like to be there, but you can really only experience all of this by actually going there. It's a bit of a drive, but I'd say it's totally worth it. Go there if you have the chance. Shelter Gardens is another little nature spot in northwest Columbia. It's a garden, obviously, although it might not quite be as obvious in these shots because I didn't realize that flowers usually don't grow until at least April. This is still late March. So here are some pictures of what the garden looks like in its prime during the summer. There are 300 varieties of trees and shrubs, along with a staggering 15,000 annuals and perennial plants. And despite being right next to a major street, it still felt really quiet and relaxing. The Francis Quadrangle is located on the south part of the Mizzou campus and features the most iconic structure in town, the columns. These 6 columns are actually the only pieces that survived a fire that burned down Academic Hall back in the late 1800s. Its successor, Jesse Hall, was built right behind it. This is a huge photo spot, especially for graduation pictures and stuff like that. This part of campus is also notorious for being the home to lots and lots of squirrels. These squirrels are known to be way too comfortable with people. You can get within like 2 feet of them and they just do not care. So going back to downtown, the Blue Note is the big concert venue in Columbia. We've had some big artists in the past. They had a sold-out Snoop Dogg show a couple years ago. Tech Nine has a gig there every year. I went to a Hollywood Undead concert there in 10th grade because I was weird back then. They mostly feature smaller artists though. If there's a lesser known artist you listen to, there's a chance they'll stop by there. For fun, I'd recommend an escape room. There's 3 in Columbia. Breakout Como is probably the best one. They have high quality rooms, employees are very nice, knowledgeable, they always know what's going on. It's great fun, and I definitely suggest you give it a try if you've never done one before. Columbia is a pretty progressive town for the Midwest, lots of artwork and sculptures displayed throughout the city. I will say that some of them are a little out there, and to show you what I mean, there's this bright, abstract, neon yellow statue in front of the Columbia Public Library. There's also these horses made out of metal. They're literally called untitled horse sculptures. A lot of it is pretty cool though. There's the Columbia Art League, which features a gallery of various artwork. They're closed on Mondays, it turns out, so this is all I could get. They offer classes, art camps, and they also run this event called Art in the Park, which is an art festival that takes place in Stevens Lake Park. Artists from around the country come to sell their artwork. It's completely free to the public. They have strolling magicians, art installations, and a whole lot more fun. So, if you're a fan of the arts, go here. I'm sure you'll have a great time. And we're done. Hey guys, Nick here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video helped you decide whether or not to move to Columbia. Whether you're leaning towards moving now, or maybe you crossed Columbia off your list, I hope either way that this video helped you make that decision any easier. And I didn't mention everything that there is to do in Columbia. I might have missed your favorite place. So if anyone from around here wants to post anything down in the comments about what there is to do here, feel free to do so. And if you have any questions about living here in Columbia, be sure to post those in the comments as well. And that does it, guys. Thank you so much for watching again. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.